Hi, welcome to On This Day in Tudor History with me, Claire Ridgway, author of several Tudor history books. Now today I'm taking you back to the final few weeks of Elizabeth I's reign. For on this day in Tudor history, the 24th of February 1603, Katherine Howard, Countess of Nottingham, died at Arundel House. She was buried at All Saints, Chelsea, or Chelsea Old Church, on the 25th of April 1603. Catherine was the eldest daughter of Henry Carey, 1st Baron Hunsdon, and his wife Anne Morgan, making her the granddaughter of Mary Boleyn, sister of Queen Anne Boleyn. Her birth date is not known, but must have been between 1545 and 1550. By 1551, Catherine's father was serving as a gentleman in Elizabeth's household, and her mother also had connections to the princess's household, being the granddaughter of Blanche Herbert, Lady Troy, Elizabeth's lady mistress. Elizabeth came to the throne in November 1558, and Catherine herself was appointed as a gentlewoman of Elizabeth I's Privy Chamber in 1560. Historian Simon Adams notes that Elizabeth and Catherine were obviously close friends, as the Queen disguised herself as one of Catherine's maids so that she could watch Robert Dudley shoot at Windsor in 1561. Catherine married Charles Howard, 2nd Baron Howard of Effingham and 1st Earl of Nottingham, in 1563, and the couple went on to have at least 5 children. Catherine's daughters, Elizabeth and Frances, also served the Queen as maids of honour, as did her granddaughter, Elizabeth Southwell. Catherine also served the Queen as her carver, meaning that she was responsible for receiving the Queen's food and serving it on plates. And from 1572, she was Chief Lady of the Privy Chamber. And in 1598, Catherine was listed as being one of the Queen's grooms of the stool, i.e. she helped the Queen with her toileting. She was also one of the ladies the Queen trusted with caring for her jewels. Her husband Effingham served as a gentleman of the Privy Chamber, was elected to the Order of the Garter in 1575, and joined the Privy Council in 1584, becoming Lord Chamberlain. In 1585, Elizabeth appointed him as her Lord High Admiral, and he acted in this role in the 1588 Spanish Armada trouble and in 1596 in Cadiz. In 1591, the Queen granted Catherine and Effingham the Manor of Chelsea, and in 1597 she made Effingham Earl of Nottingham, the second highest peer in England. Catherine became ill in 1601 and never recovered, dying on this day in 1603 at Arundel House, having suffered a number of fits. The Queen was devastated by her death, with one contemporary noting that she took the news of her friend's death much more heavily than Catherine's own husband did. A courtier remarked, "The Queen loved the Countess well, and hath much lamented her death, remaining ever since in a deep melancholy that she must die herself, and complaineth of many infirmities wherewith she seemeth suddenly to be overtaken." Catherine's brother Robert Carey noted that the Queen had a melancholy humour, and that she made more than 40 or 50 great sighs as she spoke to him. The two women had been close for over 40 years, so Catherine's death was a heavy blow for Elizabeth, and it is said that grief was a factor in the decline of the Queen's own health. Elizabeth died just a month later. And here's a bit of trivia about Catherine. There is a myth about her. According to this myth, Catherine played a role in bringing down her husband's enemy, Robert Devereux, Earl of Essex. Queen Elizabeth I had once promised Essex, apparently, that if she ever became angry with him, then he was to send her a ring that she'd given him, and that on receipt of that ring, she would forgive him. It was alleged that following the Essex Rebellion of 1601, Essex tried to send the ring to the Queen, but Catherine intercepted it and withheld it from the Queen. When Catherine was dying, according to this legend, the Queen, who had heard of Catherine's part in Essex's fall, said to her, "God may forgive you, madam, but I never shall." It's a great story, but it actually has no basis in fact in history, and it dates only to the 17th century. It's just a myth. Now I have a book recommendation for you, Elizabeth I and Her Circle by Susan Doran, which is excellent on the people that Elizabeth was close to, her ladies, and includes obviously Catherine. Also on this day in history, the 24th of February 1500, Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor, was born. You can hear some Charles V facts in last year's video, which I'll give you a link to in the description. You can click round about there, I think it's a big red button there, to subscribe to this channel. You can also give me a like and leave a comment and hit the bell to be notified as these videos go live, which is on a daily basis at the moment. I'll see you tomorrow with some more Tudor history news. Bye-bye. You can click round about there to, I can't remember the name. You can click round about there to subscribe to,
What?
don't know what's that called?
Subscribe.
Ah, subscribe.
Well, you
Couldn't
are.
think of the word.